This is your Weather Xtreme video for Saturday, September the 3rd. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters. Thanks so much for tuning in. Satellite image this morning shows that we do have a few clouds across central Alabama, especially across the east central part of the state where they're mostly cloudy. And mostly cloudy skies there are thanks to a couple of small showers. High pressure off to our north over the eastern Great Lakes is nosing across the lower Mississippi River Valley, filling in behind the tropical storm Hermine that is over the northern outer banks of North Carolina, expected to move out into the Atlantic later today. And it's a very complex storm, but we'll talk a little more about it a little bit later. In the upper atmosphere, we have an upper ridge that is beginning to become firmly established and become the prevailing feature in our weather for the next several days, and that means it's going to be mostly dry across the area. Central Alabama this morning, temperatures in the lower 70s, so it doesn't feel too bad out there as the humidities are down just a little bit, and that just helps to feel a little bit better. Radar shows that we do have a couple of small showers in the east central part of Alabama, as well as some showers along the coast. Watch warning map is not too busy. Of course, much of the red that you see along the mid-Atlantic states is tropical storm warnings. Over in the western part of the United States, that purple is actually a winter weather advisory, and the pinkish areas that you see to the south of that are actually high fire danger, so it's for very dry conditions. Our quantitative precipitation forecast, or QPF, is showing very little rain over the southeastern U.S., especially across parts of Georgia and the northern half of Alabama for the next 5 days. The Storm Prediction Center is out looking for day one today and into early Sunday, a marginal risk over parts of eastern Colorado, southwestern Nebraska, and northwestern Kansas, as well as parts of the Dakotas. For day two, there is a slight risk over primarily the eastern two-thirds of South Dakota and a good slice of the central part of Nebraska, as well as a couple of surrounding areas. For day three, we have a slight risk over parts of Minnesota, the eastern part of South Dakota, and a little bit of the northeastern part of Nebraska. Tropics remain fairly quiet. We're not going to worry about Gaston. Hermine, we'll talk about that in just a minute as it's moving off the coast. And then we have another area that moved off the African continent several days ago, but is having trouble getting its act together. Seems like all these are. Let's take them one at a time. There's the track of Hermine, expected to remain a tropical storm as it moves out into the Atlantic, and then take on post-tropical storm characteristics. So the complexity of this particular storm is going to be pretty high over the next several days, but expected to remain offshore, but causing surf issues and some possibly local flooding along the east coast of the United States. And you can see the purple area are tropical storm warnings all the way from the southern part of North Carolina coastline all the way up to just below New York. The one that's out in the Atlantic approaching the Leeward Islands is not showing any signs of real development. There are some fairly large areas of thunderstorms with it, but no real organization. The various models are suggesting it's going to go into the eastern Caribbean. And after that, the GFS and the European don't seem to show it up. So we'll see what happens. They did the same thing with Hermine, but you know what happened with Hermine, so we'll see. All right, here's the 06E GFS model run this morning, and there goes the disturbance that is Hermine, and you can see the ridge coming in across the lower Mississippi River Valley. At the surface, we have this little bit of kind of an inverted trough moving through Alabama this morning and into this afternoon, and that means that there's a small chance we'll see showers, but I think for the most part, everybody's going to stay pretty dry. Yes, a few spots may see a few showers, and we are expecting highs to get to around 90. The ridge takes over as the predominant feature on Sunday, and once again, that just keeps us pretty much into very isolated showers as a possibility, but the air's going to be a little bit drier, so the shower possibility is pretty slim. Monday, we have the 594 contour over the lower Mississippi River Valley, so the ridge becoming very firmly established, and once again, very little in the way of showers. As we head out into Tuesday, that ridge really ramps up. As you can see, the spread of the 594 contour there all the way from Brownsville to central Ohio. And that stays that way pretty much on Wednesday. So GFS's MOS guidance is coming out with highs around 95, and I think that's probably good. It might even be warmer than that. Thursday, we begin to see a little bit of a change. There's no 594 contour. That's nice. But with the storm tracks well to our north, they're not doing much for us, but they are beginning to kind of beat down the ridge just a little bit, and we see that again on Friday. The ridge still pretty imposing feature in the upper atmosphere over the southeast and along the east coast of the U.S. But notice up there approaching western North Dakota, we have a nice trough, and that's going to actually dig down. Could present the first good cold front of the season for us. And look at the surface map. You can see over the southeastern U.S., just plain dry. Going out into Voodoo Country, we're not quite out into Voodoo Country yet. We are still on Saturday, a week from today. The ridge still in place, but it's being beat down just a little bit, and again, that keeps us dry. Now going out into Voodoo Country, you can see that nice trough digging into the central Mississippi River Valley, and that could bring the first nice air mass change to our area for the season. That would certainly feel nice. But also there's some other factors going on. Notice that the GFS, by the time we get out to the 18th of September, this is 372 hours, that the GFS has also got some sort of tropical mischief going on down in the Bahamas and just to the east of the east coast of Florida. But we have that nice trough over the central Mississippi River Valley, again signaling the possibility that we may have a front, and therefore we may have some weather that far out. But at least for the short term, looks like it's going to stay warm. I'm ABC 3340 meteorologist Brian Peters. Thanks for tuning in to the Weather Xtreme video. The next one should be posted around 7 a.m. or so on Sunday morning. Be sure to catch the latest forecast tonight on ABC 3340 News at 6 and 10. I'll be filling in for Megan. Have a great day and Godspeed.